Welcome to another episode of The Artsy Raven, a show about writing and publishing with your host, J.F. Garrard.
Welcome to another episode of The Artsy Raven. I'm your host, J.F. Garrard, and today our special guest is Sarah Haasz. After 20 years as a broadcast executive for various children's programming networks in Canada, Sarah has taken her robust industry experience directly to kids' television production, creating original series and assisting producers in bringing their shows to fruition. Sarah recently wrapped up Gangnam Project, the live-action K-pop drama comedy series she created and which she'll be talking about today. She also produced the Emmy-nominated Circuit Breakers, a live-action anthology series for Apple TV, and Step by Step Let's Dance, a live-action docu dance series for TVO Kids. Sarah is currently working with Cottonwood Media as a creative producer on their live-action slate and sits on the board of the Youth Media Alliance. Well, thank you for spending some time with us today, Sarah. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Like, how did you become a broadcast executive?
So I want to start off as I want to be a television reporter in elementary school, and so I always wanted to be like Connie Chung. She was someone I looked up to, and in university, in high school, I took all creative courses. University, I took a co-op program at Waterloo, so I could work at a TV station, which I did. And then I started off as a television reporter for YTV News. And so that's how I got started in the business. And then I actually loved the behind the scenes work. And so I sort of pivoted. And at YTV, I eventually landed in the original programming department where we commissioned series. So that's how I ended up there.
So your recent project, Gangnam Project, did you write this and pitch it and everything?
So I came up with a concept. It's based on my personal experience as a first generation Korean um, immigrant. And the concept was a little bit boring. It was being caught between generations. So not being Korean enough in Korea, not Canadian enough in Canada. And so I really needed a hook for the series, and that's how K-pop entered the sort of development process. And so that's how it came about, and it took 6 years to develop. CBC came on board to develop it with me, and BBC commissioned it. So, and we just shot it last year.
Oh, wow. So all in all, it took about 7 years, I guess, like to develop.
Pretty much. It was a very long process.
So did you learn how to sing any K-pop?
Um, Learning how to sing, not really, but I listen to a lot more K-pop than I normally would.
So what were some of the challenges you faced creating the show?
I would say the biggest challenge was casting, as it always is. Your cast make up your series. Like, I mean, you give it, a foundation. But the execution, if you don't have the right cast members, then it just won't come together successfully. So of course, our entire cast was diverse, which is there's not a lot of shows out there like that in Canada, specifically for kids and families. So we're really excited about that. Our lead character had to be half Korean, half Canadian. Funding rules, dictate where our actors have to be from. So Korean Canadian has to look 17, sing, dance, and act. And it really was like finding a needle in the haystack. And the person who we cast is like, she lives and breathes the role. She is the role. And then the other cast members that we cast Korean. um, we were worried, but at the end of the day, you know, it all came together. We have the best cast ever. We couldn't do without them for sure.
Now, I guess this is like once. Do you think you'll do another season? Like for the
We're
show?
hoping, I mean, that's always the hope to do another season. We did 10 episodes and people, just burn through the episodes and they're like, what's next? So we left the door a little open. And in terms of the last episode, so, we've already heard feedback from our broadcasters saying, people are asking when the next episodes are coming, it's like a year process pretty much. So yes, we are looking at another season and hoping to shoot that this year.
Now, was the show filmed in Toronto and Seoul, or where were the filmed?
So it was filmed in Hamilton at Mohawk College, which is a college that my parents went to when we first immigrated. And then we filmed in Korea. We filmed some scenes in Korea.
Okay, so the story is basically about a Canadian girl going back to Korea to become a K-pop singer, I guess.
No, she actually she loves K-pop. She's a K-pop fan. She goes to Korea to teach English to an up-and-coming K-pop idol. She was at the time. And so there was no expectation that she would become a trainee herself, which is the evolution of the show, where she begins as a tutor and ends as an idol.
Like, I understand the trainee process is quite long, and sometimes some people don't even debut. It's like kind of a torturous process, but it's a shot, right?
Yeah, you know what? I equate it like to Canadians. It's like, making it into the NHL. You have tons of like my two boys played hockey. My eldest played baseball, and it's competitive. And people have these dreams of get into the NHL, but it very, very small percentage make it. It's the same with any organized program or any organized sports or competitive program. You want to be the best, but some people will make it, some people won't, and that's the nature of that type of training for sure.
Now, did anyone experience any culture shock when they went to Korea at all? I mean, I just came back from Seoul and I find it so different in Canada. So,
You know, not that I mean, I'm sure even when I went to Korea when I was 16, it was a culture shock, complete culture shock for me. And it must have been for the actors that we brought to Korea. But, they helped each other. They leaned on each other, leaned on us. We had just had a fantastic time. And I think they were just happy to be in a country that was a part of themselves. And now, like when I went to Korea when I was 16, English wasn't spoken as it wasn't as accessible as it is now. So I think it's much easier for them. But yeah, culture shock probably, but it was a nice culture shock, I think.
yeah, I think over the years, South Korea has opened up a lot more. Like, I went to Korea, this is my third time to Korea this year, but I didn't remember the international visitors line being so long. I was like, wow, there's so many people suddenly visiting South Korea. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think there's people are just so curious about Korean culture, Korean food. Netflix just, they did a big output deal and for Korean content, and it's quite incredible when you look at TikTok. There's a lot of people who are making ramen 25 different ways, who are making tteokbokki, who is eating Korean food and making kimchi. Like it's really wonderful to see that people are so curious about Korean culture in a good way.
Definitely. Now, did you need to do anything to make the show any authentic K-pop stuff? Like, did you guys contact studios and actually film at studios, or did you feel like
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, this show took so long because we rooted it in authenticity. Behind the camera, in front of the camera. One of my really good friends, her husband was in a former K-pop band that was managed by YG Entertainment, which is one of the top, uh, entertainment companies in Korea, and they manage Psy. So he and I had a chat. We went to Korea to visit some K-pop studios, or K-pop um, companies, music composers, and schools. So there's a lot of them. There's a lot, and they some specialize in dance, and some specialize in singing, acting, and dancing. And so there's a lot of schools based in Korea. So it's good to reach out and sort of witness the type of training that they go through.
Cool. So what is your next project? I guess is your next project season 2, do you think? Or are you thinking on something else?
Yeah, I would love to produce a movie eventually. I mean, I don't want I have a very small development slate, like very, very tiny, because I'd love to make everything I develop. Um, if I'm fortunate to do so. Um, something that and something that is meaningful, heartfelt. um, I love the K-drama aspect of storytelling. So yeah, the next one probably be Gangnam Project season 2 and developing a movie.
Cool. Now, if anyone else has an idea about pitching CBC, how do you recommend? Like I see on the website they have a submission thing, but I don't know. And then sometimes I think they have events, right, where people pitch. Um,
Yeah, I used to work at CBC in the kids department. So I think the best thing would be to go through the proper channels as indicated in the website. And I can't really speak for them because I don't work there anymore, but that is the best route. And there's different conferences like Kids Green and MIPCOM, like those places where you can actually meet the buyers and pitch your ideas. Um, but it's if you don't have any experience producing, the best thing to do would be to reach out to a producer who has that experience and that sort of connection with the networks, and to see if your idea would be a viable idea to produce and pitch.
cool. Okay, well, thank you very much for spending some time with us. And I
Thank
hope
you.
to see season 2 soon. I have to watch season 1, but I'm sure I'll just binge watch it because it's all online. So, unfortunately,
Yep.
I know it took a year to make, but it took 2 weeks to watch, right, for people? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
but good luck with everything, and
Thank
hopefully
you.
we'll interview you again for season 2.
Sounds great.
For more upcoming episodes of the Artsy Raven about writing and publishing, visit us at jfgarage.com/arpodcast. A reminder to Patreon subscribers that there's bonus content available for every episode on the Patreon website. If you enjoyed the show, you can show your appreciation by buying us some digital coffee. The Artsy Raven is produced by J.F. Garrard. The voice in the show's introduction is Chris Gorman, and music is by Tim Moore. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, stay safe.